At the beginning of the story we are introduced to a cunning thief named Frank Morris. He is a master thief who has been apprehended by the police for a bank robbery. He's being taken to Alcatraz, the world's most secure prison, to serve a life sentence. Alcatraz is a prison built on a small island in the middle of the ocean. This means that even if a prisoner manages to escape the jail, they can't flee because the water blocks their path. This is why the prison was considered the most secure in the world, a place where only the top criminals were kept. However, the prison's reputation was about to be tarnished. A clever thief named Frank Morris, who had previously escaped from several prisons, had now entered. But this time, Morris was a little nervous because this prison was extremely secure. Still, Morris had no intention of spending his entire life here. He wanted to escape as soon as possible. Upon entering the prison, Morris began thinking about escaping. He was thoroughly checked from head to toe and then locked in a cell. A guard came and said, "Welcome to Alcatraz," and the real story began. Suddenly, a bell rang, and all the cell gates opened automatically. The officers called the prisoners out. The discipline in this prison was very strict. The prisoners had to follow rules about cleanliness and returning to their cells on time. They all wore the same uniform and lined up for breakfast. A prisoner named Litmus was in front of Morris. Morris asked, "I didn't get a fork, how am I supposed to eat noodles now?" Litmus replied, "Hey, this isn't your house. Eat what you've been given." At that moment, a dangerous prisoner named Wolf started taunting Morris. Every prisoner in the jail was troubled by Wolf. He did whatever he wanted to every prisoner and had many rape cases against him. This prison housed the most dangerous criminals. Litmus asked Morris for some food, and Morris gave him his plate. When Morris looked under the table, he realized that Litmus was not eating the food himself but was giving it to a rat. That night, a guard took Morris to the warden. When Morris reached the warden's office, the warden told Morris, "I know you have a sharp and intelligent mind. But what good is all that here? Many like you have come and gone, but no one has ever escaped from here. Prisoners here follow very strict rules. Someone can visit you only once every 2 months, and that too only if I'm in a good mood." The warden was a very strict person who would give severe punishments for even the slightest mistake. The warden said, "Don't even think about escaping from here, or you'll be torn to pieces." Morris replied, "No, sir, with you here, who would even think of escaping?" But in reality, from day one, Morris had started planning his escape. During this time, Morris saw an opportunity and stole the warden's nail cutter. Although it was a small item, Morris knew that in a prison like Alcatraz, even a small nail cutter could be used for something big. Morris returned to his cell and hid the nail cutter in the Bible. The next day, in the bathroom, Wolf started bothering Morris again. But this time, Morris was not going to let him go. Morris showed his true colors and beat him up badly. After beating Wolf, Morris gained a different reputation throughout the prison. Everyone started to fear him. Afterwards, Morris was given a job in the library. There he met a man named English. He was a senior prisoner in the jail. English had also been sentenced to life for killing 2 men. He had spent half his life in this prison and knew every corner of it. He was aware of everything that happened in the jail, including the fight between Morris and Wolf that morning. He gave Morris some books to deliver to every prisoner's cell. In the next scene, prisoners are shown playing games in an open area. That's when Morris meets an artist named Doc who is painting his own picture. Doc is a simple and decent person who has been serving his sentence here for many years. He was very fond of painting and spent most of his time doing it. Doc said that anyone could go crazy in a prison like Alcatraz, but his painting kept his mind normal. Morris asked Doc, "Why did you paint this flower in this painting? There's nothing like it on your shirt." Doc said, "This is my happiness, which is only in my painting, not in my heart." Then, when Morris looked to his right, he saw English above. Morris went towards English. When Morris got close to him, his henchmen stopped Morris. English gestured for them to let him in, saying he was one of their own. Morris sat down next to him and immediately brought up the topic of escape. Morris asked him if he would help him escape from here. English laughed. "Look, son, this is not just a jail. It's our grave. To get out of here, we first have to die. Only then will our dead bodies reach the cemetery. Let's say you manage to climb these huge walls, cross the dangerous forces, and somehow, with some magical power, escape from hundreds of guards and get out of jail. Even then, you can't escape because the sea will block your path. So don't waste your time and quietly serve your sentence. At least you'll stay alive." But Morris was determined. He wanted to escape from this prison at all costs. That night, an officer told Morris that he had been assigned carpentry work from tomorrow. He would also be paid 50 cents an hour. Morris immediately agreed to the job because he thought he might find a tool there that could help him escape. The next day, Morris asked Litmus for a way to escape from here. Litmus said, "Oh, that's very easy. Every cell has an air vent. Through it, you can reach the roof. Maybe you can escape from there." And with a smile, Litmus walked away. Then, Doc warned Morris that Wolf was coming towards him. At that moment, Wolf came to attack Morris with a knife. Morris wrapped his coat around his hand and started fighting him. Just then, a guard came to stop him, and Wolf also stabbed the guard with the knife. The situation got out of hand, and the guard in the watchtower started shooting. Only then did Morris and Wolf stop fighting. Morris didn't know that there was also a guard in the watchtower. He started noticing every detail of the prison. The guards took Morris and Wolf to the D block, where prisoners were tortured in the dark all night. This was a cell that no prisoner wanted to go to. Before leaving, Wolf threatened Morris, "Your death will be at my hands, son." That night, Morris had to endure various tortures, which left him in a very bad condition. After 2 weeks in that dark cell, he was brought back to his own. Litmus sent a note to Morris with his pet rat, which read, "Welcome back, Morris." One day, a new prisoner named Charlie arrived and was placed in the cell next to Morris. Morris and Charlie quickly became friends. Morris then introduced him to his other friends. At the same time, the warden checked every prisoner's cell without telling anyone. When he went to Doc's cell, he saw many paintings Doc had made. The warden was surprised that his paintings were increasing day by day. Doc had also painted a picture of the warden. The warden smiled upon seeing it. But for some reason, the next day, the warden ordered the guards to throw all the paintings Doc had made in his cell. The warden's decision completely broke Doc from the inside because Doc was alive only because of his painting. He loved every painting he had made because it was his only happiness here, and that too was snatched away from the poor men. Morris tried to console him, "Don't worry, it was just a painting. You can make more." But Doc couldn't get over the shock. The next day, Morris saw him and told the guard, "Please keep an eye on Document. He looks very upset. He might harm himself." The guard then told Morris, "Mind your own business." Doc was also given carpentry work with Morris. That's when Doc secretly put something in Morris's pocket. After that, he called a guard and cut off 3 of his fingers with the axe given for carpentry. He said, "I don't need these fingers that I can't paint with." Saying this, he started screaming. The guards then took him away. Morris saw that Doc had put the same flower in his coat that he had painted. Maybe he wanted to tell Morris that these people had taken his happiness away from him. Morris picked up Doc's cut fingers, put them in a box, and looked at the guard and said, "Go and give this to your warden. He will be very happy to see it." The next day, Morris was sitting in his cell. He saw a cockroach going inside the air vent, which made him realize that there must be a way out from here. Just then, English came and told him that Doc had cut off his own fingers because his permission to paint was revoked. That's why he got fed up and cut his fingers. Hearing this, Morris got very angry. The next day, in the dining hall, the warden asked Morris, "Why are you supporting this Doc so much?" He said, "It's nothing like that." Saying this, Morris went back to his table and sat down. There he met 2 brothers, John and Clarence. But Morris talked to them as if he knew them from before. John and Clarence were actually in Morris's gang in another prison. John now felt that escaping from prison would be easy because these 2 brothers were as sharp-minded as Morris. And now these 3 started planning to escape from prison. In the afternoon, Charlie's girlfriend came to meet him. On the other hand, English's daughter had come to meet him. English's eyes filled with tears as soon as he saw his daughter because she had grown up a lot in his absence, and English regretted not being able to see his daughter's childhood. On the other hand, Charlie's wife told him that his mother was very ill and the doctor said she would not survive for more than a month or 2. Hearing this, Charlie also started thinking about escaping from Alcatraz. And just then, a guard came and said that the time for talking was over. Now Charlie was very upset. That night, he told Morris that if he planned to escape from here, he should also include him. The next day, Morris, Charlie, John, and Clarence had a meeting. Morris told them that the air vent of every cell opens onto the roof, and secondly, this place is in the middle of a sea filled with salt water, because of which the walls have become weak. I have a nail cutter, and I have already started digging. If I dig a little bit at a time and make a small tunnel to reach the roof, I'll be able to figure out how to escape from here. John asked, "If the guards find out that you're not in your cell at night, won't they be suspicious?" Then Clarence said, "I have the solution to this problem." He said, "There's a barber I know here who cuts the prisoner's hair. He can supply us with hair, and we can use it to make a dummy head and put it on the bed. After that, even if we escape through the tunnel in the wall and are on the roof, the guards won't be suspicious because there will be fake heads on our cell beds." But the question still remained, they would get out of the jail, but how would they cross the sea water? Morris told John, "Look, I'll need your help with this. You work in the clothing department. There, you'll find raincoats made for the police officers. So you steal some raincoats and give them to me. We can use them to make a tube boat and life jackets to cross the sea." "Here," Charlie said, "brother, give me some work too. I also want to help you guys." Morris told Charlie, "When I'm digging the ventilation grill, you stand guard so no guard can see us. And when you're digging, I'll stand guard." Everyone liked Morris's plan, and they started working that same night. but the nail cutter was too small for digging the wall, which made Morris work very hard. Morris was having a lot of difficulty digging the wall. He got some minor injuries on his hands, but he slowly started digging that hole. The next day, at the dining table, he told his friends that he needed a bigger tool for digging. It's very difficult to dig the wall with a nail cutter. Then, looking at the spoon in his hand, an idea came to Morris. He deliberately rubbed the spoon on his shoe and made it dirty. After that, Morris called the guard and said that the spoon was dirty and that he wanted another spoon. The other people also requested the guard to replace their spoons. The guard didn't find anything wrong and immediately gave permission to replace the spoons. After that, he went straight to the table where another security guard was sitting on a seat. But just as he was about to replace the spoons on the table, John engaged the guard in conversation. Taking advantage of this, Morris picked up 2 spoons instead of 1 and hid one in his pocket. After which he went straight to his cell. At night, English came to give him a book. Morris asked him, "Is there any welding equipment available here?" English understood that the ghost of escaping from prison was still on Morris's head. He said, "I've told you before that your effort will be in vain because you will be caught and will probably lose your life as well. In all these years, I have never thought of escaping because I know it's impossible. But if you're stubborn, what can I do? Go ahead and try." But Morris was not affected by his warning. The next day, he asked Litmus for matches and said, "If you help me, I will give your rat my share of food every day." Litmus happily agreed to this deal because he liked the rat very much. That same night, Litmus passed his matches to Morris. Morris took out a handle of the nail cutter with which he was going to make a small shovel. Then he broke the spoon and joined it to the handle of the nail cutter. Then, by lighting a match, he welded both together well and prepared a sharp tool. That was it. He started digging around the vent. Charlie stood guard. If any guard came that way, he would immediately whistle to signal Morris. But while standing guard, Charlie fell asleep, and then a guard came there. But luckily, at the last moment, English came in between and distracted the guard. On the other hand, Charlie, hearing English's conversation, also woke up but was so tense that he couldn't even whistle. Then he dropped something. So Morris understood his signal, covered the vent, and lay down on the bed. The guard asked, "I smell something burning here." Morris said, "Sir, with you around, how dare anyone smoke? I don't smell anything." The guard was also pleased that at least someone appreciated him. After he left, Morris took out the concrete from around the vent. But he saw that there were screws embedded in the ventilation grill. A sharp tool would be needed to cut them. During this time, whenever Morris got a chance to go outside, he would quietly throw the cement from the grill outside. The next day, while doing carpentry work, he picked up a piece of metal that was as sharp as a knife. But Charlie told him, "How will you take it outside without getting caught by the metal detector?" Morris said with great confidence that he would take care of everything. When Morris went outside, the metal detector at the door started beeping. In fact, Morris had brought the metal in his hand. The guard asked, "Why are you taking this?" Morris said, "Sir, I thought I would use it to hang clothes." The guard said, "Don't be so clever and give that to me." Saying this, the guard took the metal from him and let Morris go after checking him thoroughly. But our hero is a hero. In fact, he had stolen 2 pieces of metal. He had brought one in his hand and hidden the other in his shoes. With that sharp metal, he cut the grill. Now it was time to make fake heads to trick the guards, for which all 4 of them did their part. Charlie asked a guard for some paint. He told the guard that he was fond of making art. The guard did not refuse and gave him the paint. Morris ground the concrete he had taken out from the hole into a powder. John brought hair collected from the barber shop, and Clarence collected old books from the library. After collecting all the items, Morris started making a dummy head using water and old magazines. He then put paint and fake hair on it, making it look exactly like a real one. At the same time, to make his plan even stronger, Morris made fake cardboard so that no one would suspect that someone had made a tunnel in the wall in front. One night, Morris decided to go up alone, for which he placed his fake head on the bed and covered it up to the neck with a blanket. After that, he took the fake cardboard and came out of the tunnel. There, Morris held the pipes and slowly climbed up to the roof. On the other hand, Charlie was standing guard outside. After reaching the roof, Morris saw that there was an iron grill above, which he could not reach even by jumping. In the meantime, a guard came and asked Charlie, "Why are you painting so late at night? And why did your friend Morris go to sleep so early today?" Charlie said, "Sir, Morris was tired from carpentry work today, so he went to sleep early." Suddenly, the guard's stick fell down. While picking it up, he saw that Morris's hair looked very strange. Now Charlie started trembling in fear, thinking that they were caught today. The guard put his hand inside Morris's cell and touched his hair. Then Morris asked, "What happened, sir? Is my hair so beautiful?" Luckily, Morris had come down and lay down at the last moment. The next day, Morris told his companions that there was a way on the roof, but it was tied with a grill, and that grill was at a great height. I need help from another companion. Then John said, I have completely dug my vent. I will also reach there tonight. Both of us will open the grill together. That same night, Morris and John reached the roof through their vents. John lifted Morris, and Morris held the grill. John saw that this iron grill was very strong and had been completely welded. There was only one way to remove it, and that was to cut it with a drill machine. The next day, in music class, everyone was playing their own instrument. Just then, Morris's eyes fell on a small fan kept there. Seeing which, Morris thought that he could work on it and make a drill machine, for which he told Charlie, somehow, you hide this fan from here. Charlie easily hid this small fan in his instrument box. When Charlie came out, the guards also checked his instrument box. But they did not see the fan, and Charlie was allowed to go. As soon as Morris got his hands on the fan, Morris started working on it, and after many hours, Morris prepared a drill machine from that fan. That night, Morris and Charlie climbed onto the roof and started cutting that iron rod with the drill machine. The sound of the drill machine was very loud, and hearing the sound of the drill, the guards started coming up. But by then, Morris had cut a rod of the grill, and the sound of drilling stopped. After the sound of the drill stopped, the guard ignored it and went back. Now all four of them had opened all their ways to escape, after which they were going to escape from Alcatraz, the world's most secure prison, on a Tuesday night. No one had ever escaped from there before. The next day, they had another meeting, and that too in the movie hall where everyone was watching a movie. Between the sound of the movie, Morris asked John and Clarence if their vent was ready and what happened to those raincoats with which they were going to make tubes and life jackets. They told him that everything was ready. Our dummy heads are also ready. We just have to escape. The next morning, during breakfast, Morris placed the flour given by Doc on the table. When the warden saw this flour, the warden came to their table and crushed the flour. Seeing this, Litmus got very angry because this flour was Doc's favorite, and Doc was dead. Litmus angrily attacked him, saying, "First you killed Doc, and then you're not even sparing a small memento he gave you." But as soon as he attacked the warden, he suddenly had a heart attack and fell down. Morris got very angry at the warden, and the four decided to escape that same night. Morris was waiting for midnight so that the guards' patrol would become a little weak, and they could easily escape. Just then, English gave him some books in Morris's cell. Morris said, "I want to shake hands with you for the last time." English understood that Morris had made a definite plan to escape from here. He quietly left. But then something happened that Morris had not thought of at all. The warden suddenly came to check his cell, as if someone had told him about his plan. Morris got very nervous because his hard work of so many months was about to go to waste. The warden ordered the guards to check every corner of Morris's cell. The guard checked every single thing in Morris's cell. But Morris was not an ordinary prisoner who had made a small plan. Instead, he had made a clean and perfect plan that even the warden's grandfather could not have caught. The guard specifically removed the suitcase from the place where Morris had made a tunnel to escape, but Morris was not caught there either because he had already made a fake cardboard and fitted it perfectly into the wall. When nothing was found there, the warden and the guard left. But the guard said, "Morris and Charlie keep talking all night. I smell a rat." The warden said, "Okay, tomorrow you change Morris's cell so that they can neither stay together nor talk." The next day, at breakfast time, Wolf again threatened Morris and told him that tonight would be his last night. Morris told his companions that this idiot was right. "Tonight will be my last night here." But in the afternoon, Wolf came to stab Morris. Just then, English came in between and grabbed Wolf. In fact, English also wanted to help Morris. Whether he succeeded or not, English wanted to help Morris with his work. That night, Morris, John, Clarence, and Charlie decided to come out of their respective vents and meet on the roof. Here, Charlie agrees to escape with his companions. But as soon as he reaches the cell, he starts getting nervous. Sitting alone in the cell, he decided not to be part of the plan, and his other three companions came out of their vents and reached the roof. The three of them waited for Charlie for a long time. But after a long time passed, when they realized that Charlie was not coming, they decided to leave without Charlie. The three of them started moving forward according to their plan. But on the other hand, Charlie's dream of freedom was moving away from his eyes. The three of them slowly started escaping by hiding from the searchlights. In this way, they reached the end of the building by hiding. Just then, Charlie, sitting in the cell, felt a surge of passion and decided to escape too. He came out of his vent and reached the roof. But now it was too late because he alone could not reach that door above. This means that he had lost his chance for freedom because of fear. On the other hand, the three of them came down to the ground by hanging from the pipes on the roof and, while hiding from the security guards in the tower, reached the last wall of the jail. And then, one by one, the three of them climbed that fence and came out of the jail. Now the three of them ran quickly to the seashore. Then the three of them took out the raincoats and started filling them with air with their mouths. It was taking them a lot of time to fill them with their mouths. But they had no other option. That's why the three of them put all their might into it and finally inflated the tube boat made of raincoats. And they put the boat in the water. In this way, these three escaped by destroying the reputation of Alcatraz. The next morning, a guard was checking every cell. In the beginning, everything looked normal to the guard. But when they reached Charlie, Charlie was standing in his cell like a ghost and was taunting himself in his heart, "If only I had gathered a little courage last night, I would have probably escaped with the others." The guard asked, "Why is your friend sleeping for so long?" Saying this, he went into Morris's cell and called out to him. But he did not get any response from Morris, so the guard got angry and opened the cell and tried to lift him by his hair. But when the guard pulled him up hard, the head fell down. Seeing this, the ground slipped from under the guard's feet because Morris was not in the cell anymore, but was enjoying the outside world. He had left his dummy head on the bed. After which, sirens started blaring throughout Alcatraz. The news spread throughout the jail that some prisoners had escaped. After which, the warden started searching for the three of them in every corner of the jail. When the three of them were not found inside the jail, the warden launched a search operation in the sea. The warden did not believe that the three of them had escaped. He thought that they must have died in the water. But deep down, the warden knew that the three of them were very strong. The three of them must have crossed the sea water and would be breathing the air of freedom now. The officers from the head office were asking the warden a lot of questions. "Were you sleeping when the three of them escaped?" The warden was in a lot of tension. But just then, the warden found the same favorite flower of Doc there. This meant that Morris also wanted to take revenge on the warden for document. Then the head of the search team came and told him, "Sir, a search has been done everywhere, but their bodies have not been found." Now, to save his job and his own image, the warden told him to write the report as he said. Write that the three of them tried to escape, but they drowned in the water and died. But no one believed the warden's words. After this, Morris became famous throughout the world as a genius for breaking the Alcatraz jail. 1 year after this incident, Alcatraz jail was closed because now there was no guarantee that no one could escape from here. In this way, this film, based on a true story, ends.